Hey guys, Theron Asbury here with Revital Outdoors, bringing you another podcast. We're very, very excited for our guest today. But real quick, if you've been enjoying these podcasts, please like and subscribe to our YouTube page. That's where we post all of our content. Outside of the podcast, we have great testimonials, product information, hunting and fishing videos that we're putting together. So please like and subscribe to our channel for a lot of more exciting content in the future. Now, today's guest. He is from Kentucky. He is a just overall legend in my book. He's been fishing the Bassmaster Elites Series since the beginning. He was one of the inaugural anglers there. He's stuck with bass. He's had a great career for himself, and just overall a really well-rounded angler. He's probably one of the best anglers, in my opinion, with a little crankbait in his hand and a spinnerbait. None other than the Kentucky native, Mark Menendez himself. How you doing today, Mark?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. So looks like things are a little cold up in Kentucky. How's the weather up there? How's your off season been?
It's been so great there, and it's been in the 70s here on Christmas. It's been in the 70s
Really?
all December, and I woke up this morning and it was 27. We're
Ooh.
expecting 8 or 9 degrees here in a couple days, and our first real threat of snow. So it finally prompted me to get the Skeeter in the garage and in the shop and start putting things together to get the boat ready for the upcoming season, which is only a few days away. So I'm excited to get started again, and just having to go through that same old process of rigging that boat is just a little overwhelming to me.
Right. So two questions with that. Now, first of all, you're fishing the 2022 Bassmaster Elite Series. You've been fishing it for several years now, since the beginning, as I just mentioned. Are you fishing any of the opens or other tournaments as well?
I don't, Theron.
Okay.
I just don't have the time between promotional work and a family that I now have we have 7 kids between Melissa and I just recently got married. I've got basketball practice, and I've got cheerleading tonight to go to, and I have a band concert to go to, and it just eats up all my time as far as that goes. So I just keep focused on the Bassmaster Elite Series. I did fish the Redfish Cup. And I'm thinking very hard about fishing all of those type events when they get started. Really enjoy the saltwater side of things. Don't get to do it a lot, but do love catching those big redheads. And so that may open up a little bit more fishing for me here in the near future.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, couple of congratulations, first of all, on getting married. That's really awesome. You and your wife had a beautiful wedding. I saw the photos on Facebook, so congratulations there. Very happy for
Well,
you.
thank you.
And then also, congratulations on your finish. I think you finished third in that Redfish Cup,
Well, no, I actually didn't. I led the first day there, and
right?
I backslid. I was making a huge run. We were running almost 70 miles round trip in that big Skeeter Bay boat, and we limited our time. And we weren't getting a lot of bites, but we were getting the right bites. And the first day, I kind of opened up the freshwater world into the saltwater because I led it by catching them on a Strike King Rage Craw. And
Oh wow.
the commentators were kind of like, "What is he using?" And I just went bass fishing. And that's the great thing about redfish. You can use just about any bass fishing lure you want to catch, and a redfish will eat it. So, yeah, day one was led on old Strike King Rage Crawl, old Black Neon. I'm sure there in Oklahoma, you've never used one of those.
No, now that I live in Florida, I've started using because I will have to say, so my favorite redfish, trout bait, I've caught some snook on it as well, is the big size of the Rage Swimmer.
I,
So
I can see that.
they just love it. Quarter ounce head, eighth ounce head, depending on how what level you're fishing. If I'm in the kayak, I'm usually fishing really shallow, so eighth ounce head. If I'm just casting around for schools of greenies or mullet, then I'm using the quarter ounce head. So, and that also depends on the tide. A lot of people don't understand saltwater fishing in the freshwater world, but there's a tremendous amount of more factors in the saltwater world. Where you got tide, you've got water clarity, you've got moon phases. A lot can affect those fish. So, but that was really fun to watch you branch out a little bit, something different. And I know one of your fellow Elite Series competitors, Chris Zaldane, won the event. So that was really, it just overall, it was really fun to see you guys branch out and do a little something different. And I encourage people all the time, because I'm heavily involved in bass fishing as well. Do something different. I like to go saltwater fishing or freshwater or fly fishing, just to kind of give your mind a break away from I guess when we think about bass fishing, we're focused on winning and the competition and we still need to have fun with what we do just in the fishing world too.
Well, we do, and everyday pressures take away from the joy of just fishing. Fishing in a Bassmaster Elite Series event, there's a lot of pressure, a lot of financial pressure. I got to catch fish. I got to get points. I got to do this. I got to do that. And that's the worst thing a fisherman can say is I gotta have 25 pounds a day. I got to do this. I got to do that. In the Redfish event, for all the elite guys, that's the most laid back I have ever seen. One of my best friends, Matt Heron, we call him Old Grumpy on tour because he's all the darn time. And, Matt was so relaxed and having so much fun. We were talking trash to each other. And then Patrick Walters with the shorts all the way hiked up, halfway up his leg like he always wears.
Those
he's
shorts
got
are
the
something
same
else.
shorty shorts on from AFCO. And, anyway, it was great because we all just chilled. We took this as a fishing venue, a fishing event, and it was someplace none of us had ever been. I don't think any of our bass guys had been there, and it was a heck of a lot of fun. And my partner for the tournament was Captain Ricky Bort, and Ricky Bort and I fished the All-American back in '96 together. We were we both qualified for that same tournament, so I hadn't seen him in forever and done some work with him at Skeeter and on some photo shoots and things. So it's like two buddies going fishing for 6 days. It was a heck of a good time, and I'm looking forward to doing it again.
Right. Well, speaking of which, you work well with your sponsors. It's been a real honor to have you on board with Revital Outdoors, but I've always known you as the Skeeter Yamaha guy. You've also been, I think throughout your entire career, you've been with Strike King as well. You were one of the early guys when Lou's really started stepping up their pro staff opportunities as well. So, that being said, I understand how busy you are because it seems like you work very religiously and very closely with Skeeter Yamaha. I know a lot of the pamphlets, a lot of the commercials that they do. You seem like you're always driving the new ZXR or the new models of what they're coming out with the next year.
Well, there's so much more to working with a company than just going fishing and catching bass. That is a part of it. With Skeeter and Yamaha, I work in the conservatory group called Right Waters, where I'm working hard on the Asian carp issue. There's so many different facets to it, and these are all about relationships, and these are long-lasting relationships with most of the companies that I work with. I've been very fortunate over my career to have some of the same people that I've worked with, 20, 22, 23 years. And that just doesn't happen unless it's a two-way street. So many of our young folks that are wanting to get into bass fishing think they know what the fisherman's handshake is. Do you know what that is, Theron?
I do. Actually, it was Scott Canterbury that taught it to me. I think it was Scott that taught me how to do that.
Well, I mean, everybody thinks that the companies should just give more and more and more for whatever one's doing, but that's not how it works. It takes a lot of effort. I've been on the computer this morning working with contacts. I'm going to work with another group here in the environment side of things here shortly. So it takes a lot of time and a lot of energy. When Melissa and I first started dating, she had no idea what I did. Everybody thought I sat under a tree with a 6-pack and fished for fish all day and got paid for doing that. And
a little bit different.
It didn't take her long to realize that there's a hell of a lot of time. There's a lot of travel. There's a lot of thought. There's a lot of planning. And then you get to go to the tournament, and then you have to be physically fit to do it. You have to be mentally ready to do it. So many things. The dominoes line up, and when you kick those dominoes and they start falling, doggone, you got to have a lot of them in line to be here for a while.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. I'm still very young in my career in the outdoor industry. I'm very blessed to have this opportunity, and I love working for Revital. And I've went to several ICASTs, I've went to several ASA shows, I've went to a number of Bassmaster Classics, and I also compete as a tournament angler as well. And we were just talking about this. At one time, I wanted to compete on the Bassmaster Elite Series. I wanted to try to make it full time, and then when the opportunity arose to get in the industry, I decided to just focus on that. I mean, I can still fish really good tournaments. Still a lot of money opportunities on the line. A lot of tournaments I can still fish with some prestige behind it, but I just really love working in the industry, and it's really done well for me. And I think I'm learning daily more and more about myself, about my career, about how to push myself. But one theory I came up with a few years ago, and I've told it to a few people, and they're like, you know what? The more we think about it, the more you're right. Is 10%, in my opinion, 10% of being a professional bass angler is catching fish. The other
That's
90% is how well you market yourself outside of that boat. Can you meet with customers? Can you meet with lure manufacturers? Can you meet with the designers of behind your sponsors? Can you go to those media, opportunities? And it's just it's hard to really sit down and put on paper how much time and effort it takes outside of fishing.
It does, my boats at the end of the year don't near have the hours on the outboard in which most people think they do. The last several years, my boats have not had many hours on them at all, other than Elite Series hours.
Right.
I put a few on with my little television show that I have here locally, Mark Menendez Bass TV, and I am doing other things at all times. It's every day, working conversations. So it's about communication. It's about communications that are positive communications. It's about things that it's reviewing product. That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Where I find something that, hey, maybe this could have been done better. This could have been designed a little different. And it's going through and talking about things like that with those people you've worked with for so long. Those really help. And then the other thing is when there are promotional opportunities for whichever company, you show up and go. You put your bow hunting gear down, you put your rifle down, and you show up at the event, and go and do the work instead of going and fishing and hunting and other things that you may want to do. So it becomes a full-time job outside of being a tournament angler, every way you look at it.
Yeah, there's a lot of work involved. And, speaking of which, I know that you worked very strongly with Strike King. I think you've been a part of the design process for some of their spinner baits. I think you had a hand in one of my favorite baits, the Shadowlicious, and then the cutter worm as well. So, that being said, like, how does that all work? Like sitting down with the design team and coming up with an idea, and what's just give us the timeline process from talking about it to we have a finished product and it's on the shelf.
Well, from the beginning inceptions of the thought process to actually getting it into the consumer's hands in a quick turnaround is 18 to 24 months.
Mm-hmm.
Got to get prototypes built of various different prototypes and put those in folks' hands that you have a lot of confidence in, that will give you the true feedback. Oh yeah, it catches fish. It's a great goal. Go with it. That never works. I'm always like, look, it could be better here. Shave that bill a little bit, get it thinner, make that wiggle a little tighter, make it a little wider, whatever it is. And it takes a long time. And that's not including, designing the packaging and designing how it's going to get marketed, all of those things. But the actual physical testing of baits takes a very, very long time. When the designer of the cutter worm came to me and he says, what do you think about this? A worm you can reel like you do in Florida. And I said, well, heck, put a spinnerbait blade on the back of it. I mean, literally put a number 3 or a number 4 Colorado on the back of it and make that thing thump. I want to be able to feel the darn thing. And he was like, huh. So he took his Rage flanges that Big O put on everything, and he came out with this. And it's one of the worms that's universal now. I flip with it, I cast with it, I drag it on a rig, I put it on the back of a Thunder Cricket, on the back of a spinnerbait. I do all kinds of things with it. And that's one of the cool things when you can marry all those pieces together and not have to carry, 10 different kinds of soft plastics. I can cut it down and use it for multiple things. Helps me a lot in the long run.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, well, that being said, what's absolutely, if someone were to come to you and say, what's your favorite bait? If you had to fish with one bait the rest of your career, what would it be? I'm
No.
very curious about this.
Well, I love to do so many things. I love any kind of bait that's got treble hooks on it. I love
Okay.
spinner bait has always been one of my absolute favorites. I'm not scared of 8-pound test line and drop shotting and Ned rigging and all of that good stuff, but it'd probably have to be a spinner bait. It'd have to be a spinner bait. And reason being is I can fish that spinner bait from the surface all the way down to 30 or 40 feet, in cover, out of cover, covering water in the wind, running points, running grass lines. You can even flip a spinnerbait a little bit too. So it would have to be a spinnerbait, and that's I doggone. I caught the biggest fish I ever caught in the Mega Bucks tournament on a spinnerbait. That big old thing weighed 13.9. I caught my
I
second
remember
biggest
that.
fish
That
on a
was
spinnerbait. I caught my third biggest
unbelievable.
fish on a spinnerbait. So there's a trend on big fish and spinnerbaits.
So, are you a double willow leaf guy, or a Colorado blade to a willow leaf, or a Colorado single blade, or what's your variation on blades? Can I ask that question? That's a
Well,
lot of secrets.
I mean that's not even secrets. There's just so much to all of that. I am continually trying to modify a spinnerbait, continually,
Really?
whether it's color, whether it's blade style, whether it's blade material. I'm always playing with something. I got a whole big bunch of blades. I'd like to know how many pounds of metal I have in blades in my shop. I got saw some blades the other day at Lure Parts Online, and jumped on there and got some spinnerbait blades I'd never seen before. They weren't for bass fishing, but I'm incorporating them on the spinnerbaits now. So I tinker. I'm a tinker, and I think most fishermen are. And I think one of the most addicting things about fishing, it has been for me since I was a young person, is trying to make that bass do something he doesn't really want to do, tricking him on an artificial, making that technique better. What do I need to do? This might be a way to make that fish bite that bait better, or this might be a better way to present it. It has consumed my thought process my entire life, and it's a daily thought process when I'm thinking about things. How do I catch the next fish? That is what I think about all the time.
That is why a lot of bass fishermen, the majority that I know, and even the new guys, they come in, all the rookies, it seems like they have them. Everybody thinks we have a swimming pool for the family to go out and relax and have a good time. And that's true. But there is a reason that bass fishermen always have pools in the backyard.
Yeah, I've had a pool at my house for about the last 15 or 18 years. And getting remarried here with Melissa, we just put one in the backyard here too. So she thought it was a great idea for the 9-year-old, but he has to dodge a crankbait or a spinnerbait a lot when he's out there swimming. So
That's
yeah,
that's fantastic.
I'll never forget there in one of the first times I was ever in a pool, and I was pitching a Texas rig plastic worm, and I pitched it over in the corner. And as that worm fell, two shadows came at the worm. And I set the hook. I actually jerked. I saw the two shadows coming. It was in the corner. So the bait was making the shadow as it went to the bottom. I thought a fish was about to bite it. I turned around and looked and hoped nobody was looking. And fortunately, there wasn't. So that's the first time I ever told that story, dude.
So I guess that hook set was free.
Yeah, it was. But boy, I mean, it was a good looking hook set. I tell you, I was going to bust him.
That's when you know you have it. When
That's
you've
right.
got the bug of bass fishing, that's when you know you have it. So that's really funny. I remember when Scott Suggs, he put his pool in his backyard. He was joking with his wife and said, "This is my tax write-off. I'm telling you, I'll get a write-off on this because I'm designing baits for Berkeley. I'm working with them. I will manage getting this written off." Scott. So
That's a little
you know, that's,
sketch, but I appreciate the effort too.
yeah. So, and that being said, that's probably one of the biggest things that I hear people talk about is all these professional anglers. They have all the new prototype stuff. They have baits that you can't even buy on the shelf. They have special poured plastics, all that. Okay. Yeah, the majority of them do have prototypes. But one thing I've learned just talking and visiting forums and paying attention to the groups, even down to the magazine, Bassmaster puts on a great publication each month, is you guys don't really have all that. You have the same stuff that people can go in the bait shop and buy. They might tinker with it a little bit, and I guarantee you they are. But if I got into Mark Menendez's boat right now, I don't think I would see a whole bunch of special pour plastics and specially colored crankbaits. I think it's the same. I mean, let's just be honest. How many Strike King 6XD Sexy Shad crankbaits do you have right now in your possession?
Well, there's the gold mine of them. The one thing I would say we're probably more guilty about is changing paint on crankbaits, having some little
Mm-hmm.
custom paints here and custom paints there. You would see some of that in my boat. You would only see one special poured bait, soft plastic bait in my boat. It is a factory Strike King color, just in a different Strike King bait. That's all it is. You don't see a lot of that, but what you would see is a lot of tweaks on how it's weighted, how it's rigged, how the jig skirt's cut, how the spinnerbait skirt cut. You'd see a lot of little tweaks like that in most of our boats. But if you get in my boat, I'd say probably somewhere between 91 and 92% of all the tackle in my boat, it comes out of the Strike King family.
Mhm.
I think that's important. It's easy to see on television what you catch them on, and
Right.
I love every bait that we make, and I use them for that very reason. So, but there are a few things that we don't make, and I have to fill some holes with some individual things. And then the beauty about gray hair there, and the beauty of gray hairs, I've been doing this so long, is I have a lot of baits that are 30, 40, 50, 60 years old that are
Oh my
still
gosh.
in my tackle box and in use. Now, whether that is a discontinued Strike King crankbait color, um, I did that with a bleeding series 3 at Lake Martin about 5 or 6 years ago. And they're asking me, where the hell did you get that crankbait? I said, well, hell, I still got them in inventory at home.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to tell a secret here. I'm going to tell a story on one of our Revital anglers. And this dude has got more out of date stock than anybody in history. And who might that be?
That'd be Terry Bolton or Shaw Grigsby.
Oh, Bolton doesn't have half the stuff. No, Shaw is the ultimate pack rat. So when it
Yes.
comes down to the numbers, if I've only got one or two things, hey Shaw, you got one of those school bus colored this, that, and the others, and oh yeah, I got a whole bunch of them. Come get some. So Shaw's shop is just an absolute gold mine of those old baits and things like that, and a lot of things that get designed, they just weren't designed at the right time.
Hmm.
They've one that comes to mind that I used to fish a lot that I probably haven't fished in, I don't know, 20 years is a ringworm.
Yep.
Terry and I
This is
used
a
to fish
fact.
together. He grew up in the back of my boat, and we used to fish a 7-inch ringworm here on Kentucky Lake all the time. And you don't even see them anymore. You can't really buy them anymore. Um, Techniques come and go, but really well designed stuff will make it through the tried and true fight to get to the plate there.
Yeah. I think probably the most notorious bait you're talking about is the old wigglewort. I know that some of the old wiggleworts go for upwards of
Sure.
$300 to $400 a piece. That so you can still buy the wigglewort today, but the manufacturing process is a little bit different. And I think, and I could be wrong, I think ultimately what separates the old wiggleworts to the new ones, and don't get me wrong, the modern day technology that we have today with baits and everything that we're doing, all the manufacturers are doing, they're almost up to par. I mean, they're making them as good as they did 30 years ago. But I think the sound chamber in the old wigglewort is what separates it from the ones you can buy today.
Well, have you ever opened up a tackle box and it's full of old plugs and it smells like stinky gym socks? Well, that's
Yeah, the old
butyrate.
plastics
And
too. Yeah.
that old butyrate plastic carries sound different than what the new plastics do. And we as fishermen, we are the world's worst about wanting to change. We have to fight change in everything we do. But if you find something that's successful for you, no matter what kind of bait it is, you want to keep a few of those around. We're not only professional fishermen, we're professional hoarders there, and that's what we are. We
Hell
we
yeah.
hoard everything, and I got 20 of these left, and I got 50 of these left, and I've got one
Mhm.
category that I probably got 500 left. So keeping those baits keeps our confidence up, and that's what one thing that has really helped me is looking at new product, new things
Mhm.
that make my fishing better, and whether that's a new hook or the advent of fluorocarbon line, which I think is the most prestigious, most helpful thing in a fisherman's tackle box, is fluorocarbon line, more abrasive resistant, stronger, more sensitive, whatever it is. I think that's one of the big things. But was finding the gel cap from Revital Outdoors to help me with the devastating tendonitis problems that have occurred with me has been that's probably helped my fishing and rolled back the calendar better than anything that I've dealt with.
Right.
Tendonitis,
Right.
we all get it at certain times in our life, whether it is tennis elbow, which is underneath the elbow, Mine is on top, and that's epicondylolateral tendonitis, and that is from gripping. Each time I make a cast, I grip that hand, and you get a little tear there. Synovial fluid gets in that tear, and then when you go to grip something, man, it hurts like heck. Well, the gel cap from Revital Outdoors has done more for me to relieve that inflammation, relieve that pain, so that when I make that pitch or I make that skip or even setting the hook, I don't have that pain, and it just helps me do my job that much better.
Well, that's very interesting. So talk us through the process of coming on board with Revital Outdoors. And, obviously you talk really highly about the 25 milligram soft gels. Is that the only product? I mean, I know you've tried some of the other products. What's your daily regimen when you're on the road or on the water with Revital?
Well, what I generally do is 2 to 4 days before the tournament, I will start my regimen. And I don't think it's good for me personally to take something every day. So I will start that. And I learned that with prescribed medication, diclofenac sodium, that I take as well with this. It eats your stomach up. So I took that diclofenac for a long time, and man, I just started having stomach problems. I got off of it. Then I found Revital. So I will take that and build that up before the tournament, keep a constant during the tournament, and then I will come down and go to a smaller dosage afterwards. So that wave, which marries the actual fishing, the gripping, the setting the hook, man, that has been a home run for me. I was a tennis player in high school and college. And I fought tendonitis on the under part of my elbow a lot. And God, I wish I would have been able to have had this product beforehand, because it would have allowed me a lot more days, a lot more efficiency, and a lot more wins on the tennis court. But each pitch that I make now, I feel like I'm winning because my game is sharp, my body feels good, my elbows don't hurt. And dude, it's like gold to me. It is absolutely like gold. And then in the evening, I'll take a gummy, and it's night, night, sweetheart. And I wake up refreshed. My mind is ready to go. I'm rested. The world is fast. We've got a dang phone in our hand all the time. Got responsibilities. I got to drive. I got to go. I got to catch an airplane. I got to speak. I've got to do this. I got to do that. But to rest at night is the most important thing. And the gummy gives me the best sleep ever. And the best part about it, and it's the big thing for me, there's no THC in this at all, none whatsoever. So a reputable person advised me. Now I'm stretching it on reputable here. This is a Strike King referral here, and someone that I met a long time originally from Florida, and now he lives over in Dallas. My good friend Marcus Parker. He says, Mark, I've got something here for you. And been friends with Marcus for a long time, and trust was a big issue. If I didn't trust him, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation. He says, I want you to try this for your elbows. I did a lot of research about it. I had used other CBD products, and I did not have the results. So upon using the Revital Outdoor products, and then my elbows began to feel good and my life turned around. Heck, I was getting old, dude. I'm 57 now. I felt like I was 107 there on. I mean, it really became a chore to drive 14 hours to make that 80-mile boat run. Those are things that have derailed me from going to where I could win events. But now I don't have to worry about that, because I can get through the tournament, be ready, be focused, and not have that darn inflammation in my arms, and ready to make more casts than the next guy has now, just because of the gel cap.
So you brought up an interesting point in sharing that story, and I'm very glad that you did, because it brings up what I'm going to ask you. So let's say there is a fellow outdoor enthusiast, whether it be a fisherman or a hunter, and they're not really sure about if they, notice having aches and sorenesses or any issues sleeping or something like that. Talk us through what people like. How do we break down those trust barriers? What is it that you would give to fellow outdoor enthusiasts that would say, what would you tell them about starting with Revital Outdoors, what products to use, and overall the time it takes to see a difference?
Well, in the lineup, we have the applicated, the outside application, with the lotion. That's the first one I would start with. That way you're not physically having to ingest anything. So you're not going to have any problems at work. There's nothing going to show up with any kind of drug testing, which you may have to take at work or whatnot. That problem's gone. So now you can look at the performance, and the performance is what sold me on the deal. I started using the lotion on the outside of on these sore spots on these elbows, and I noticed a marked difference. It was curved, and I'm like, huh, that works. That makes me wind that spinnerbait a few extra casts or make that flip during the day. Then further discussions with Marcus was how I learned about it. A trusted friend, a trusted source, and he told me about the gummies, and the gummies were fantastic. And then up comes the capsule, and that's the one that was the home run for me. The tincture does well with me, but I think the gel cap is the one that gets into my system ultra fast. It gets to the problem and creates a better environment for all that soreness faster and better. And just really relieving that is such a mental relief in my mind, knowing that it's kind of like a baseball player when he's got to throw that curveball. I saw For the Love of the Game the other night for the 14th million time, and he says, "Oh,
Yeah.
this one's going to hurt. This one's going to hurt a little bit." So he throws a curveball, and of course it was a strike going to the perfect game. So it's helping me do my job to a higher level than what I've been able to do it in quite some time.
Correct. So, well, we've had a tremendous amount of great testimonials and great results using all three of those products. So, our CBD cream, we've seen results with people with aches and sorenesses in their joints as much as or as less than 90 seconds. I know at one fishing event this year, we even had someone that had gotten poison ivy, and we weren't really sure. We're like, they were just absolutely in agony.
That's
And
miserable.
they came to, yeah, and they came to us and was like, will your cream work on this? And we're like, well, not really sure, but let's give it a try. And so we gave them a squirt of the cream. They put it on their leg where they had the poison ivy, and within 10 minutes, they came back to us and was like, oh my God, I don't feel it anymore. Like, you don't know what this just did for me. So, great results from the cream. The gummies, we do not inject our CBD oil into the gummies. It's molded and manufactured. Our CBD premium oil is molded and manufactured into the gummy with the flavoring. So the strawberry lemonade gummy, absolutely delicious. A lot of people think that, or have said that they've taken gummies from other companies and they taste nasty. We have not had one result of bad flavored gummies. Ours taste really, really good, and that's because our CBD premium oil is manufactured into the gummy. And then our soft gels, we have the 10 milligram soft gels and the 25 milligram. I believe you use the 25 milligram, and it's just head to toe inflammation relief, reduces anxiety, helps you sleep at night. Just overall a great product. That's our number one seller is our soft gels. And that's what we've gotten the best results from is people, they get on the soft gels and they start out 2 in the morning, 1 in the evening for a couple of days just to get it into their body, into their system. And then they pretty much go to 1 a day. When they're going out in the field hunting or on the boat fishing, they'll probably take 2 in the morning and take the gummies as a midday snack when they start feeling those tightnesses and discomfort. So overall, that's just what you just highlighted on with the products. That's pretty much the products that we recommend to people who are starting out Revital Outdoors. And you hit on a very good point there. There's a lot of trust, and maybe not everybody that's hearing about Revital Outdoors has someone that they trust that they can talk to about it. But what would you say if you're, just now hearing about Revital Outdoors, how to become how to trust the product, and then overall, ordering process as well?
Well, confidence is a major key. So I did a lot of research in it. Got a chemistry background and figured out how these things worked in the body. And when I saw how it worked and then took it upon myself to go ahead and try some, I tried other brands first. I did. I won't lie to you. I tried some other brands first, and I received very, very minimal results at exorbitant costs. At exorbitant costs. Was a little disappointed about it. But when Marcus brought this to me to look at it, and told me about it. Cost was reasonable, and then performance was unbelievably high. That was the consistent thing, was the performance. Um, Doggone an 80-mile boat ride one way and an 80-mile boat ride the other way at the St. Lawrence River is not a lot of fun anymore.
It'll make a man out of you real quick.
An old man, it'll make an old guy out of you. Now I've got the confidence to do that because I know I won't be as sore. My muscles, I have to incorporate some exercise in there too. I do stretches and some specific exercises for my back, where I injured my back a couple of years ago. But doggone, it's just when you have confidence in what you're doing, you're going to be far more successful, whether that is working as an accountant, or that is working in the construction field, or that's being a professional angler. If I'm confident, I'm going to do a better job at it. And Revital makes sure it gives me all the confidence I need.
Well, that's really interesting, and we appreciate you sharing those thoughts. Any last testimonials, or any last thoughts, or any last great words of advice from Mark Menendez before we let you go? I know you're looking forward to the Bassmaster Classic this year. Any word on that? Just any last message from the great Mark Menendez?
Well, it's just Mark. There's no great in there, I promise you. Fishing is something that we can do our entire lives. My parents got pictures of me at 18 months old in a diaper with a stick and a string fishing for minnows in a minnow bucket. Awesome. So it started early on for me. 57 years later, I'm still just as excited as I was back in those days about it. And what is amazing to me is that this has rejuvenated, Revital has rejuvenated my abilities to extend my experience outside. And that's the whole mission statement. That's the whole ball of works with Revital, is getting people outside and letting them extend that lifetime. Because whether the other day I was out working on the driveway, well, there was a big flight of snows and blues that came over the top of me. I mean, a big wad of those squawking darn geese flying. Doggone it, I stood there and looked at them and just had an appreciation for what that was. And seeing golden eyes on Kentucky Lake, or catching smallmouth last month, as many as I caught last month, whatever it is, I want to be able to do this until I'm older than Rick Clunn is. Rick's our good friend on the Bassmaster Tour, and hey, he's way up in his 70s, and he's in great physical shape, and it's because his mind is in physical shape. Keeping one's mind sharp is important as far as anything that we do in our daily lives. And I'm just really thrilled that this is helping me focus better, perform better, and enjoy more. So thank you guys for getting me on the right track.
Absolutely, Mark. We're very honored to have you. You were actually the first pro staff angler we ever signed among the inaugural staff. So we're very, very honored to have you on board. We're proud to have you part of the Revital family, and we feel a part of the Menendez family as well. So we thank you for that. We're here to stay. We want to influence as many outdoor enthusiasts as we can. This is not just a product for fishermen. This is a great product for hunters as well. We're in the depths of hunting season. We've been seeing a lot of great testimonials and hearing a lot of great reports about people being able to go out in the stand and make those miserable hikes to their hunting stand and stay longer, sit longer, waiting for that trophy buck to come by, or even in the duck blind. As cold and frigid as it gets in the duck blind in the morning, helping them be able to set out their spread of decoys and then stay throughout the day, waiting for that flock to come in. So we're an outdoor brand. As Mark just mentioned, we're 100% THC free. So you will not fail a drug test taking our product. This is a worker friendly brand. We want to give you the relief and the confidence and the trust that you need to take a product to feel better and do whatever activity it is in the outdoors that you're doing at a better pace and feel better doing it. We're also 100% made in the United States, and we vow to always stay with those two things, and that's made in the USA and THC free. So we're here to stay. And Mark, we hope we have a very long and lasting relationship with you. You're a great advocate to the brand. You're a great advocate to humanity. And you're overall, I know you say you're not a great, but you're going to go down as a great in my book in the bass fishing world. You do it well, and you do more than just bass fish. You're a great proponent of the sport of fishing. And I know that you take your kids out fishing, and that's just a great activity to do. And you never know where that can lead your kids someday.
Well, I don't care what you're doing, where you are, how big a kid you are at 57 or 7 years old. It doesn't matter. Going outside and being outside helps you make great life decisions. Young kids, young people, it helps them stray away from some real ugly influences that they can get involved in.
That's right.
The only thing that ever happened to me, I got in trouble for getting brand new tennis shoes dirty and muddy from going fishing when I was a young person. So I love the outdoors, what it can do for you, how it can ease your pain, it can ease your mindset, and it can incite you to do some great things in your life. So every minute that I can stay out there, I'm going to stay out there, and it's a lifestyle for sure. Whether it's hunting, whether it's fishing, whether it's skiing, whatever it is outside, people need to spend more time outside, and I think things would change a little bit in our worlds for the positive thing if more people got outside and hunted and fished.
Well, all I can say to that is amen. Yeah, not not a whole lot to say other than that. Those are great words of wisdom. Everybody needs to step away from, uh, the TV and the social media sometimes, and get out
Sure.
in the outdoors, pick up a fishing rod. I always said the reason that I didn't have enough money to do the extracurricular things that could have gotten me in trouble in high school and college is because I was trying to afford, fishing. My dad introduced me to fishing, and it doesn't take a whole lot of money to do this, but as a high school and college student, you don't have a whole lot of money anyway. But wanting to be active in the outdoor world and continue fishing, it kept me out of a lot of things that could have taken my life a different direction. So I always encourage, especially parents, take your kids fishing. You never know what's going to come from it. And to me, there's not a greater joy than seeing a kid catch their first fish. I mean, even though I'm not a parent, I know you are. It's still a very humbling thing to see that the emotions that a kid goes through catching that first fish. So I appreciate you, Mark. And for all the watchers out there, if you are interested in trying Revital Outdoors products, you're new to the product or you've been using it and you want to reorder, you can use Mark Menendez's code. So it's Menendez20. It's going to save you 20% off your order. You can also find that code on his social media. So please make sure you follow all of Revital's social media accounts on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. But then I know Mark is extremely active on Facebook and Instagram as well. And you can find all the information linking him to Revital Outdoors on his social media also. So, Mark, it's been great having you on board. We hope to talk about this more in the future. And just thank you for everything. And we look forward to seeing you at the Bassmaster Classic.
Well, thank you for having me. Look forward to seeing you guys there in March. It could be cold at Hartwell. It could be short weather, shorts weather there too. So it'll be a great tournament. It's always, they come out in droves in Greenville, South Carolina. It'll be a good event. We'll probably break more attendance records there because that is truly in the heart of fishing and hunting country. And I'm looking forward to a great tournament to see who's going to come out on top on that tournament too. So
coldest Bassmaster Classic I ever witnessed in my life was on Greenville, South Carolina, 2014 when Casey Ashley won. I remember it took an hour extra to launch all the boats that morning because all the boats were frozen to the trailers.
I would love to know how much gel coat got ripped off the bottom of some of those boats because they were frozen. It was funny seeing the boat float and the trailer float right underneath it, and then all of a sudden trailer would fall as it thawed and they'd back off and then the next one would go. So it's always neat. It's the test of the best. It's the only tournament that counts, and that's the Bassmasters Classic. So hopefully
Absolutely.
we'll see who triumphs on that one without all the snow and ice.
Yeah, so we'll definitely be pulling for you, Mark. We're going to be at the expo, so come by the expo, Revital Outdoors. You may not see Mark Menendez because that means he's fishing the tournament and he's doing well. But come by, talk about Revital Outdoors products, and then be sure to go to the weigh-in, support Mark Menendez and all the Revital Outdoors family that's qualified for that event. So, Mark, from all of us, thank you for your time. We hope to have you on more podcasts in the future. Good luck in the 2022 season. And, just God bless you and your family.
Well, thank you so much, and we're looking forward to it. And just going to be thinking about how to catch one more fish between now and then. So going to go to work on getting that skeeter boat rig today. I'm as soon as we finish here, I'm out the door and into the shop. So
I just saw that you picked up your new boat. Beautiful color scheme this year. That ZXR Skeeter. I'm actually a little bit jealous. I wish I owned one myself, but I can tell you that I'm very close to being a boat owner again, and I'm going to take a hard look at that Skeeter Yamaha package. I really am.
Well, just let me know. I'll give you a code for one of them. How's that?
I appreciate it, Mark.
All right.
So,
See you next
all
time.
right. Thank you. Yep. What an exciting opportunity we get to meet with all of our pro staff and then fellow outdoor enthusiasts. They don't, we're going to broaden this podcast a little bit. So you might see guests on here that are not always affiliated with Revital Outdoors, but they've heard of us and they just love being in the outdoors. And that's the kind of content material we want to pass along. So big thank you to Mark Menendez for taking time out of his day, his busy schedule, his off season to being on our podcast. So again, make sure to follow Mark Menendez on all of his social media. That's Facebook and Instagram. Check out Revital Outdoors on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook as well. But again, go ahead and like and subscribe this video and make sure that you're a part of our YouTube page. That way you get all the notifications of our new podcast and content that's hitting. So from all of us at Revital Outdoors, again, I'm Theron Asbury. We look forward to a very prosperous 2022 season. Thank you to all of our fans, followers, and supporters. Again, if you're interested in Revital Outdoors products, check out our website. We have a numerous amount of educational pieces on there, as well as our products and everything you need to know to order Revital Outdoors products. So thank you so much for tuning into this podcast. God bless. Be safe out there in the outdoors, and we'll talk to you soon.